Hello, everybody. My name is Steve Tamura. I go to the First Presbyterian Church of Hollywood, and I think I'd like to just contribute a story to this evening. It's a story of a 12-year-old boy, actually 13 now. His name is Raul. He lives in South Hollywood, and I happen to be his tutor. And somehow, in some way, my relationship with him and the times that we spend together somehow make is a spiritual act of worship, as it says in Romans 12. And I think that's how I can contribute tonight. Raul is like I said, a 13-year-old going on 17, if you know what I mean. He is bigger than I am. He is just a giant among his peers. And he lives in South Hollywood with his mother and 2 sisters and a brother. He's got 2 nephews in the house as well, in a single bedroom apartment. He also lives in an area that is in the intersection of 2 rival gang territories. And being 13 years old, it's just a prime time for him to be courted by these gangs, and not only courted, but intimidated as well. And that's the atmosphere that I find myself in when I get together with him. Every week we just get together and we go to a local fast food restaurant, which is what he loves, and so do I. A couple times we've gone to Pink's Hot Dogs on Vine Street in Hollywood. And we do things together that typically wouldn't be a part of a urban teenage youth's time. We talk about things like how many hot dogs would it take for Mr. Pink to make money at his restaurant. Basically things like that. You know, what are the economics of starting a small business? We also talk about things like that I'm interested in. I am interested in science, and I had this batteryless flashlight that I took apart, and we took a look at it together, and we tried to figure out how this flashlight works, and we talked about how energy is made in general, the California energy crisis, and there's just times that we spend together where he tells me about his world and I tell him about mine. Had the privilege of taking him to his first Dodger game. And yes, the hot dogs were great, the Dodger dogs, the crowd was awesome. But what he really loved was just watching some of the players get beamed in the backs with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and he just thought it was so cool, and left with an appreciation for the game that he didn't come with. There's some special moments. God just really does work in our unusual relationship. He's a bright kid. He is somebody who has been to 4 or 5 different schools since I've known him in the last 2.5 years, partly because of his grades or disciplinary problems. But we had the chance to get together one evening, and he proudly pulled out his report card, and on it were straight A's and all E's for excellent behavior. And I looked at him. I said, "Raul, is this the same Raul that I've known for the last 2 years?" And we laughed together, and he just basically had this proud look on his face. It was really great. Am I qualified to do this? And I know that you have had situations in your life where you have participated in things that you consider to be your spiritual act of worship. And absolutely not. I'm just a person who God has blessed in some ways. I grew up in a very safe neighborhood in Irvine, had a nice school, supportive parents, a rec center, a library close by, all the things that I feel like are needed to help kids grow up in a positive environment. And of course, he has none of that. Did I grow up with anything that could possibly help me to counsel him in these difficult times when he is amongst his peers and being pressured by gangs and being chased and shot at in some cases? No, there isn't really. But I thought about it at one point, and I determined that there is something that I believe God, in his wisdom, brings together when 2 or more people come together. And in the case with Raul and myself, it really is as simple as this: that somehow, in some way, in my suburban mentality and my suburban comfort and my suburban safeness, he draws comfort in that. in his turbulent world. And there's somehow, in some way, in his urban outlook and in the difficulty that he experiences every day, that pierces my suburban world and allows me to feel compassion. And so somehow God is at work in this relationship. And I'm very, very thankful to be a part of that, and a part of this evening to be able to share with you some of the things that God has been doing in my life. Thank you.